Hi, it's me. Ta-da! These are my stitches. This is a genuine Microtech. The rest here are clones. And in my opinion, pretty fucking good ones at that, honestly. Even El Cheapo here. This is the OK Knives Auto Aluminum. I've carried the hell out of this. The anodizing isn't very durable. I normally wear my rings and boom. But as you can see here, I have de-autoed it. I've deleted it. Wonderful. This thing gets carried a lot and used a lot. Try to keep pretty good edges on these. The stitch design is one of my favorite overall designs. It's just aggressive and fuck you kind of knife. This has skiffs and custom body screws and a Chris Reeve style clip on it. Chris Reeve milled machined clip. It comes from the same source that the flinch clips come from. Awesome, awesome clips. Genuine Spyderco compatible. Until you mod it, then you can fit it on any Spyderco 3-hole pattern. Even the clones. Clones use slightly bigger screws. The genuine ones are a little narrower, so you have to do some work and ream those holes out a little bit, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about these. This was my first stitch clone. Frame lock. These are long gone now. You can't get them anymore. And if you can, it's probably old stock somewhere on eBay. There's currently a version of this, a frame lock, that is floating around. I ordered one. It has not gotten to me yet. A guy that I'm messaging, he got his and he's not really 100% impressed with it. So I'm hoping that mine shows up and can confirm. I've had this for years and years and years. And that is true. This is, oh, what is that old manufacturer that went basically extinct? Sorry, had to pause there because I had a complete brain fart. Samyang. This was toward the end. They were getting a little sloppy with their production. They were losing quality towards the end. This is not the best example of Samyang stitch. But it feels amazing in hand. It's solid. It uses the same 8mm double row ceramic bearings. It came with Delrin plastic-ish bearings. But I've put skiffs in here. So this is running skiffs, this is running skiffs, and the genuine is running skiffs. These are not on bearings. This one is on copper washers with a modification that I did with it. It came with one large copper washer over here on this side, but nothing on this side. So I also did the auto delete on this titanium auto stitch. You can't use the blade hole like you would want to. This just turns it into a 2-position plunge lock. It's locked. It's locked. This one went off in my back pocket and I nearly shredded my hand. So this one obviously was unsafe. Plus, the pocket that I was carrying was incorrect, and I sat down and I went bloop and came out. And when I went to reach for it, I got poked instead of sliced, which thank God for that. So out came the spring. A little bit of polishing and just general tweaking to make sure that this thing actually runs fluid. No play. No play. No play. This is the lightest of them all. It doesn't have any steel on it except for the blade, the hardware, and the plunge lock. This thing is a joy to carry. It's the right weight for carrying long term. The blade steel is either D2 or 9CR18 on this one. I'm not entirely sure. It's not that. I enjoy this thing quite a lot. Didn't think I was going to be into the green as much as I am. And it's a little darker in real life than on camera. It's more like an FDE kind of green, if you know what I mean. They fucked up the spacing. It's supposed to be like this. Anyway, this thing is monstrous. Again, I did the auto delete for safety reasons. Plus this plunge lock in both of these. Especially this one I found. That plunge lock is not hardened. So after repeated openings and closings and openings and closings and the firing and all that, the blade is harder than the plunge lock. So it starts to wear a little notch in it where the plunge lock engages on the lock face of the blade. You can see the interface there. And it's much more harsh on this one. And then you'll get blade rock when it's open and when it's closed, because it uses a variation of that same lockup in the closed position as it does when it's in the open locked position. The plunge lock falls into this side, the wide side of that cutout. And that's very sharp, that cutout. And over time it will put little dents in your plunge lock. Not ideal. That's why I de-autoed it, so it's not as hard on the button lock interface. Plus it's not going to automatically fucking fire out in my pocket if I accidentally put it in my back left pocket and sit the fuck down. This one has the same blade steel marking. Again, this is either D2 or 9CR18. I have a few D2 knives, and this performs very, very similar. This is very thick behind the edge. Most of these are quite thick behind the edge. This one is just, this one is very thick behind the edge. This is the thickest of them. It's got that nice rock pattern on the back spacer. The handles are contoured. They are rounded. T8 screws, even on the lock bar stabilizer over travel stop. Wonderful pocket clip. This is a great example of a milled pocket clip that just bloody works. It doesn't have a tip that pokes you in the hand when it's open. It's relatively slim, but offers a lot of room under that pocket, or under that there for your pocket material. And it doesn't get hitched up on the lock bar relief cutout either, because it sits up further on the frame itself and it doesn't really touch the lock bar at all, and definitely doesn't come close to that relief cut. This has a steel lock face chip. I'm brain farting again. I love this thing. I want to get it sent off to get a hollow grind to put in it. I don't care if it's a clone. This thing would be nasty. Nasty. With the hollow grind on it. If you don't have a frame lock stitch and you're a fan of the automatic or the ram lock, try and find a frame lock stitch, especially one of the old Samier ones. Get your hands on it. They occasionally do pop up for sale on aftermarket. I've seen people post theirs a few times as well. Better examples than this. This one I just did a video on for overview and maintenance. Well, if you want to know more about the inner workings of this, go take a look at that. These two are so incredibly similar, it's almost unfair. The back spacer is the same dimensions. It can be swapped. The screw spacings are the same. This one has the old style fat ram lock. And this is obviously the current generation of ram lock. It is much thicker than the Marfione clone. Version. And they use different liners as well. Slightly different stop pins. Almost everything between these two knives can be swapped. But if you put this blade in this frame, closed is good, but open is not. It's all, you get a lot of floppy play because this nub here on the genuine is taller in that direction to interface with the ram lock better. And that's why I put a steel shim there to emulate that kind of thing. Because when this one was out of box, brand new, the ram lock scooted almost all the way forward. And there was almost a little bit of lock stick there too. That nub, that lock interface bump, isn't as tall on this as it is on the genuine. There is some variation between these clones out there and how well that lock interface has been shaped. The lock has not failed me in any way. I just don't like how far forward it was going. I love this knife. I'm really glad that I was able to pick this version up. Very nice weight. It's thick in hand, almost as thick as the titanium auto. These two are very similar. These three are very similar in the bodies. Of course, weird blade shape. They don't want to stand up. And I'm out of focus. Fuck you. There we go. A little bit thicker than these two. These are about the same. This one's just a tiny bit thinner. Tiny bit thinner. This choil here, really nice. Getting up in there, holding onto the blade, putting your thumb there, and that harpoon lock in in your hand is great. The clip again, it's that right length and it doesn't tip up. It's flattened. This one tips up more. You feel this clip more in your hand, but it's just the tip. Giggity. And again, the larger choil on the Ramlock gives you a more secure grip on the knife, but your finger is closer to the blade. It runs right up there to the heel, which the automatic doesn't. You got your sharpening choil there before you even hit the blade. You do have a bit sticking out there, and it fits really nice in hand if you just want to use it as an attitude adjuster. Same thing here. And that kind of swoop there, which originates from the custom for the stop pin. Really nice place to put your thumb, and then you got a couple of corners there to use if you need some non-penetrating persuasion. This anodizing that Microtech does on their aluminum, I think this is 7071, the high grade, strong as steel, light as aluminum grade, is great. Right out of the box, it's chalky and grippy, but that goes away. And then it just becomes smooth, and the only grip you have on it is the fluting. And honestly, it's not enough grip for me for such a large knife. I've always found that black anodizing on aluminum is slippery. This is better because of the texturing, but it's still, it's not what it was out of the box. It was almost sandpapery when it was new, and now it's been handled, it's been used. This thing is a year old now. I have a couple of nicks in the anodizing. There's one there. There's one there. And over there. I hand I freehand sharpen my knives. I do have a guided angle sharpener from Worksharp Pro, but there's some plastic pieces there. It's got a little bit of wiggle, and I can do better by hand. For reprofiling a blade, the Worksharp Pro is a decent beginner option. I'm by no means a master sharpener. I've been sharpening knives for years. I picked up the Worksharp because I thought it was going to make things easier, but it just didn't. If you know how the basics of sharpening works, you just try to keep the angle. And there's multiple different ways that you can do it. One of the best and easiest ways is the way chefs use sharpeners in a kitchen. You see them stand up their big sharpening rod, which is not the same thing as a honing stone. They're sharpening steel. They'll hold it up vertical or place it in their hand, find their angle. You look at the edge of the blade, the actual angle there. You find that and you move in a straight line, making sure that your blade stays in the same orientation. That way. You do a few passes that way. You do a few passes that way. You do it again and again and again and again until it's nice and smooth. I just run it along my fingernail. Once it's smooth, you know you have no burrs. You start with a coarser grit, and then you deburr with the honing grit. This is 1200, and this is 300 or 400. I can't remember exactly. These are DMT stones. This is how I've sharpened all of my stitches by hand. Just keeping that angle and making sure to keep my diamond's plate relatively clean as well. Cleaner your plate, the better the diamond's cut. This is not a sharpening video. This was my first stitch. I fell in love with the design even more once I got it in hand. And it just kicked off a kind of stitch obsession for me. I have an OK Knives carbon fiber ramlock as well, but it was so crap I'm using it for parts and pieces. It's in pieces in a bag. It was warped and twisted, and I had a couple of stripped screws right off the start, so it was a lemon bad experience, but that's what you get. It was like 60 bucks. $60 less $60 lesson. Don't go cheap. I rested on this because this was even less expensive. It was like $45 US. So again, I'm up here in snow Mexico. Our money sucks. But for the money, after making this a manual knife, I highly, highly enjoy this thing. It's a great, great option to try out the ergonomics of the stitch for fairly cheaply. This or the cheaper Ramlock version if you get a non-crap one like I did. The button tings on this one. I wish the milling were proper spacing, or just fully, not the three pieces kind of just squished together on this side. Doesn't change how I feel about the knife. Doesn't change really much about the grippiness of it. Just at a glance, that's how you tell the clone from the genuine. There is a genuine titanium option as well, but it has the proper spaced texture that you don't get on this one. This one, it feels more consistent. You don't get that abrupt change. This feels like, and they do it on some of their knives, they inlay grip tape. I think the LUDT is one of them that they do that on, but I don't like the feel of that at all. It's something that I want to carry in my pocket and use. It's a little too grippy for me and my usage scenario. I have a bit of a stitch problem. And if you haven't picked one of these up, but have been thinking about it, get a relatively inexpensive one and just hold it. Play with it. Get it in hand. See how it works for you. You might just fall in love with the thing like I did.